grew up in New Jersey, in northern Jersey, outside of New York City, and I went to Brandeis University. I was going to be a biochemist, and I actually was a biochemistry and psychology major there, which was a split between my parents because my father was a biochemist and my mother was a psychologist, just couldn't decide. Then I went to work in a lab for a few months and decided that the lab life wasn't for me. So started to think about what I really wanted to do, and because I'm very social, medicine seemed like a good way to combine that with sciences. Went to Penn for med school and left Penn and went to Temple for residency training. It was very purposeful. Because of my husband, I didn't want to leave Philadelphia, and I wanted to be in an underserved area and really kind of get my hands dirty, so that's why I went to Temple. A day could be seeing patients all day, which would be extremely varied. So we have mostly female patients here, although our female patients do bring their husbands and brothers and fathers and sons to see us. So we have our share of male patients, probably about 10% here. And it could be any kind of problem, and it could be any age patient. So I see teenagers. I do a lot of medical care of eating disorder patients, so I might see a few eating disorder patients, but then I'll also see people for routine health maintenance and GYN exams, and then maybe some hypertension patients and a sick patient or two. So it's a good variety of patients, and sometimes I'll have a student with me, sometimes I won't. And some days I might spend half the day teaching either Intro to Clinical Medicine for the second years or the first year Jeff MD course, which is communication skills. I was really thinking I was going to go into psychiatry, and I actually started my applications in psychiatry, and then started to feel a little bit anxious for a couple of reasons. One was that I really didn't want to give up my stethoscope. I really liked all the physical stuff and all the physiology, and I thought, I'm going to be giving this away, especially because back when I was choosing residency, a lot of psychiatry was still more of the therapy analytic stuff and not so much brain chemistry stuff. So I felt a little uncomfortable about that, and I thought I would miss it. And I also just couldn't quite find the right program for how I sort of believed in psychiatry, which is that, the brain and the body are not disconnected. So I ended up in internal medicine because it gives me an opportunity to do a little bit of everything. For 13 years, I was in my own practice in Haverford, and I think the thing that I'm proudest about was setting up that practice, leaving an owned practice and just setting up a practice and doing things the way that I wanted to do them. I wasn't the best business person, and then I got a partner who also wasn't the best business person, but we really had a good time practicing medicine the way we thought it should be practiced. First of all, be sure that you're really, really committed to caring for other people. It's not an easy life, and I think it might actually be made harder by hardening yourself and not caring, because I can't imagine that any of it would be fun then. It would just be a job. And so for all the times that I might be very unhappy about the EMR or documentation or dealing with an insurance company, I then go into a room and have this really amazing interaction with a patient, and it makes it all worthwhile. So I think you just have to keep that part of it in mind and make sure that you can hold on to that.